Good morning, everyone. Right now in Frontier, it's 10:16 a.m. on Tuesday, June 1st, 2021. I don't have any big news to share with you all today, but I would like to touch on one seasonal topic. I was taking a walk on the beach this morning when I spotted these rare colored shells called summer shells. As the name suggests, they only wash up during the summertime. So get out there and pick up a few and craft some fun summer memories before the season comes to an end. Oh my god, it's actually the summer now. Hello everyone! I'm the Mighty Blues, and welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. Starting off with a lot from Colton. Yo, that birthday gift you gave me? It's like something I'd give myself. Yep, it was that good. It's almost weird that you know exactly what I wanted. Wait, have you been spying on me? No, I just pay attention to what people like, and I try to go out of my way to make sure that I get something they'll enjoy. Try displaying something the same color. Thanks you. 8,000 bells, rounding up. You know I have no patience for slacking off, but that ain't the same thing as taking breaks. Even I can't go 100% all the time. Sometimes, some things gotta give. Life's already tough, so you don't gotta make it tougher. Your best bud, Paula. Man, I live by that. But anyways, welcome to June. Welcome to a brand new month. Thank you, Colton, for getting me a caterpillar costume. Yeah, so I decided to skip last week purely because there was nothing going on. Honestly, the only thing that was happening on the island was the stamp rally for the museum, and yeah, we already did that. I didn't feel like it was necessary to do it again, so I decided to skip things and move on to the next week, which, unfortunately, I'm here to report some bad news. This is the last week of Animal Crossing. Yeah, this is the final episode of the LP. On June 2nd, 2020, I almost said 2021. On June 2nd, 2020, that was when I started this Let's Play. I promised that this was going to be an entire year of Animal Crossing content, as I felt like we could get almost everything shown off in the LP up to that point. So Pom Pom, thinking of giving a fab new nickname for you, Glitter. Glitter is nice and all, but I think you got something more kosher. Sure. What do you think about Funky? Yeah, I'll display the new Funky mode. Funky it is. Beautiful. Thank you, Pom Pom. But yeah, so I wanted to just get that out there. This is actually the final episode. I think we've covered pretty much everything that I wanted to cover. The only thing that I'm really disappointed that I wasn't able to complete during this LP was actually just the museum. I kind of had high hopes for the museum. I really was hoping that I was going to be able to get all the art pieces taken care of, but that's pretty much impossible unless you have friends, and unfortunately I don't really have friends who care too much about Animal Crossing, so it's one of those things where I couldn't go with them and try to complete the museum that way. Additionally, I was really hoping I was going to at the very least get all the bugs and fish, which that's actually the topic for today. Before I show off everything that I want to show off for the finale, there is one new fish that we can catch in the month of June. And it's a river fish. Only shows up from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So I'm going to try to see if I can actually get it. I'm actually kind of hoping it's going to be this fish. I don't think it's big enough. Nope, not big enough. But yeah, so there's one new fish that I'm going to catch. And after that, we will take care of the finale things that I want to discuss, as well as a couple things that I wasn't able to show off during the full LP, which really isn't much. Again, the only thing that I actually wanted to show off in its entirety was completing the Critterpedia. And if I'm being honest, after I catch this last fish, the only things that I did not catch was one deep sea critter, 2 bugs, and 1 fish. And with the last fish that I will be missing, that one's available in September. The 2 bugs are available in July, and the last deep sea critter is available in July. So it was one of those things where, because I didn't catch it at the beginning of the LP, I failed to even complete the Critterpedia from the beginning. Because at the beginning of this LP, I didn't really know what I was doing. I kind of just told myself, you're going to play Animal Crossing for a year, figure it out. And, well, I've definitely explored a lot of ideas in terms of how I format my Let's Plays and how I try to, explore my ideas, and trust me, I am still exploring those ideas because my brain just never shuts up. I always have things that I want to do, always things I want to create. It's just a matter of time, interest, and execution. This Let's Play has definitely helped me understand what I want to do in terms of making Let's Plays. So, while the plunders of this LP have definitely been a bit disappointing for myself, it definitely helped me out in the end. But, anyways, I'm gonna catch this fish and hope to God that, I can get this taken care of soon instead of spending 2 hours trying to catch a creature. So, remember when I said that, the fish that I'm trying to catch is a river fish? I lied. It's a pond fish. Thankfully, I didn't get too far into catching stuff. I've only been doing this for, like, a couple minutes, but most of it was just trying to get bait. And oh, did I get it? No, that was a carp. It is a really big fish, so I thought I had it, but I didn't, obviously. Yeah, I actually read my guide wrong. I thought it was a river fish. It's not. It's not vibrating very much. It's a carp. Alright, well, let's see what achievement I just got. Wait. Oh, hot dang! I actually wasn't expecting myself to get Castmaster 100% done. That's awesome! And yes! Yes! I caught a giant snakehead! But I asked for a medium. I finally got you! And it only took 30 minutes instead of 2 hours. Yeah, I don't know if I've talked about this up to this point, but the past few episodes where all I've done is catch fish, yeah, that took over 2 hours for every single fish and deep sea creature because they were just so hard to get a hold of. I don't know why. Maybe it's because they're just the last ones I need to catch, and the reason why they're the last ones is because they're so rare, but God, that was annoying. I'm glad this did not take nearly as long. But the giant snakehead is one of the last creatures needed to catch. Only shows up from June till August, so summer only. It is a pond fish. And its current active hours are from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So let's donate this bad boy on over to Blathers and head on out. Now, before we finish everything off on the final day tomorrow, there's one last thing that I want to take care of. I mentioned before, the only thing that I really felt like I missed out on while doing this LP was completing the Critterpedia, as that's one of my personal few goals when playing Animal Crossing. As of now, we only have 2 more bugs, 1 more fish, and 1 more deep sea creature. All of these are available in months where we will no longer be playing, as tomorrow, June 2nd, is the final day for this LP. I want to actually show where you can catch them, and what time of day, what time of the month, so on and so forth, you can actually catch these creatures, as well as what these creatures are, because there's so few of them left. I don't really think it's important to dedicate a bonus video to, for one, this LP, but 2, to just these creatures. So let's go over that, shall we? The final fish that we are missing is the king salmon. The king salmon can only be caught in the mouth of a river, so basically this area right here. It's the area in between the ocean and the river. Got these little rocks right here to kind of indicate this location. So the king salmon can be found right around here. It can be found at any time of the day, and it can only show up from in the month of September, actually. Only September in the northern hemisphere, and in March in the southern hemisphere. Sells for about 1,800 bells, and that's all I was missing in terms of fish. Now, in terms of bugs, we are missing 2. The last 2 bugs we are missing are the Cyclomatus stag as well as the golden stag. Both can be found on coconut trees, with the Cyclomatus stag selling for 8,000 bells and the golden stag selling for 12,000 bells. Both appearing from 5 p.m. till 8 a.m. Only in July and August on the northern hemisphere, and January and February on the southern hemisphere. Easily said, some of the rarest bugs in the game. I actually remember these bugs a lot from my Animal Crossing New Leaf playthrough that I did as a teenager, because those were bugs that I often would go and get to grind for bells, because I never invested in turnips. So oftentimes I would just spend hours and hours and hours selling bugs and fish in order to make the most money. So those bugs are actually things that I always looked out for, but never found them. So I'm a little sad that I wasn't able to show them off during the LP. Now, the last deep sea creature I failed to catch was the giant isopod. Sells for 12,000 bells and is available from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. but then also from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. So there's a 5-hour time period where you can't catch one. I've never seen that before in a creature. And it shows up from July to October in the northern hemisphere, and from January to April in the southern hemisphere. And that's everything that I was missing that I wanted to show off. I've already talked about what the completion goal, or the completion rewards are for the various parts of the museum. If you donate all of the fish, you get the golden fishing pole, and if you donate all of the bugs, you get the golden bug net. And the last golden tool I wasn't able to obtain during this playthrough was the golden shovel. I've already talked about that as well. You can get that by helping Gulliver/Gullivar a total of 30 times. They'll give you the DIY recipe for that. And that's about everything. So let's end off this week, as well as this Let's Play, with tomorrow's episode. And I just now realized that tomorrow's episode is a part of today's episode because I combined things in a week. I'll see you all tomorrow because we're ending off the Animal Crossing LP. You'd think that after doing this for a year, I would understand how to commentate and how to properly structure my commentary in a way that complements my editing, but no. No, still haven't figured that out. Hello there, everyone. Right now in Frontier, it's 12:52 p.m. on Wednesday, June 2nd, 2021. Really isn't news to speak of today, but oh! Listen to this, I was having a hard time with my crossword puzzle, but I finally figured it out. Wow, Isabelle, you completely forgot that this is the 1-year anniversary of this island, and you're not acknowledging it? It's almost as if you're really bad at your job. Thanks, Isabelle. Hello, everyone. I'm the Mighty Plews, and welcome to the final day of Animal Crossing New Horizons. Today, July 2nd, 2021, is the 1-year anniversary. We started this LP on the exact same day last year, and a lot has changed on the island. I felt like it was important as a way to end off the LP by just showing the final look of the island, showing everything that we did, everything we've accomplished, and leaving it with that. So starting off in the front of the island, I decided I wanted to have pathways, carving our way to every single section of the island. Basically, yeah, the entire island was sectioned off. So the very first thing you run into is a nice little shopping district. You've got resident services as well as all the other shops / campsite. You've got a nice little raised walkway surrounding the shopping center with a nice little pond area next to it all, just kind of complementing the whole thing, with pathways leading up to my house / yard, as well as going over to the residential area that has all of the homes for all the villagers. Of course, we'll be going into that in more detail. Just kind of wanted to show the overall layout in case you are one of those people who didn't overly feel like it was necessary to embark on the entire journey of this LP and you mostly just want to see the beginning and end. That's totally fine, as we've made a lot of growth, but I mostly just wanted to show what the goal for this island was in terms of structure and see if I actually achieved it. Of course, decided to go for more of a greener look on the island by lacing the pathways in flowers, as well as trees, and every single type of fruit / bamboo. I also decided to put fences in between the trees and bamboo because I realized that when it rains, flowers grow. And I didn't want to keep having to maintain every single section of the island with these flowers, so the fences definitely worked out. Plus, I was able to do the lattice fence because I thought it looked nice. Also, we have the festival flag here in the front as literally the first thing you see, because we're all about equality here. And whenever I see this rainbow, I think of it that way. I think of it as, yeah, everyone's welcome here. And I definitely support that notion. Of course, as you make it up the path, the next thing you'll see is resident services, as well as our flag. The flag's nothing special. It's just my logo that I made for the Animal Crossing Let's Play, as I changed my logo for every single LP. And let's start from the left, actually. We'll make our way left first, as I feel like I'll end things off at my home. So obviously we have the museum. Why don't we actually take a look at the museum and see what we were able to complete? Arguably, the thing that I completed the least in the museum had to be the art gallery. It wasn't due to the fact that I didn't care about the art gallery. I very much did. This is the thing that I wanted to complete the most, aside from the Critterpedia. And I'm sad that I didn't get much done on it. I was thankfully able to show most, if not all, of the art pieces throughout the LP. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get legitimate copies of all of the art pieces, as one of the issues I ran into within the last, I want to say 2 months of this LP, was Red was just giving a lot of fakes. He always had art pieces I was missing. It's just none of them were ever real. And as I mentioned earlier in the LP as well, the art gallery is something that's very difficult, if not impossible, to complete on your own, due to the fact that you have very high chances of Red only giving you fake art pieces. So it's one of those things where you really need to share with your friends and colleagues on art and donate between one another, just so that way you can complete the museum. Because it's very difficult to do it on your own. And because I don't really have friends who care too much about Animal Crossing, it was difficult for me to do so. However, on the opposite spectrum, we were actually able to 100% complete the fossils. I would argue this is something that everyone's able to 100%, but you never know. Somebody may not have done it. So thankfully, I'm actually able to show off every single piece of fossilized material for this LP, because we completed it. I'm repeating myself in terms of trying to... I'm just repeating myself because I'm trying to fill in commentary. I'm really good at what I do, obviously. Not really going to care too much about reading all of the descriptions. Mostly just want to show off all the creatures. I don't actually know if I've shown all of this off before, but because we're at the finale, might as well show things off again. Can I actually walk underneath this? Ooh, I can. I don't know why. That's just something really stupid about me that I do. Whenever there's a thing in a game that's much bigger than me, I'm like, can I walk underneath you? It was always a thing I did in Xenoblade Chronicles with all the big Mechon. And I was very sad in the Wii version that you couldn't run underneath them just because of the way that their hitboxes worked. But thankfully they updated that. I think they updated it in Definitive Edition, where certain enemies you can run underneath them that you weren't able to in the Wii version. And I believe X and 2 did the same thing. Next up is the bug exhibit. And I probably should mention that there were only 2 bugs I failed to collect during this LP. That being the Cyclomatus stag, as well as the golden stag. I already talked about that earlier in this video, so if you're someone who watched through the entire video, you would have already known that. I'm sorry. I record things a bit differently, so it's a bit odd whenever I try to cut things together, because it's like, in my brain, these are separate videos because they're separate days, when that's not the case anymore. I combine it all into a week's worth of footage. It's still something I never got used to, as I've talked about a lot. Oh, and it looks like these critters aren't out right now. actually think that's really cool that the bug exhibit, the creatures are active when they are active out in the wild. They hide themselves when they're not active at their native times. That's really cool. And I don't actually know if that's something that a lot of exhibits do. I think the other exhibits are just designed in a way where certain creatures can. Like, I know some bug exhibits will have, like, spiders and scorpions all laid out in a way that they can actually hide if need be. And a lot of times they'll be active at times that are native to their species, which is cool. I like that. Oh, and hey, speaking of Scorpion, he's actually hiding because he's not active right now. At least that's my assumption. I actually don't remember where the tarantula is. Is he in here? No, he's not. Where is he? I think he's in the exhibit down below. I also have never understood this room. Maybe it's because of the fact that these critters are so small that you need to look at them with microscopes and all that stuff, but... Or maybe because... I don't actually know. I don't know anything about bugs. I'm not gonna act like I do know anything. No, the tarantula is not in there. Where is he? Oh, there he is! He's in his own exhibit. I didn't even realize that. God, I feel like a lot of people are so confused about me because it's like, I talk about how I actually do have slight arachnophobia. It was really bad when I was a kid, but now as an adult, like, I can handle spiders. You know, I'm not gonna freak out if I see one. In fact, some spiders, I'll even let them touch me. Jumping spiders, I actually think are adorable. I legitimately love jumping spiders. I think they're the cutest bugs ever. And, I've talked before about how tarantulas still terrify the living hell out of me. And it's odd. I feel like people are so confused because it's like, why are you so fascinated about the tarantulas and scorpions in Animal Crossing if you're terrified of them in real life? And it's like, you want to know what I did when I was 5, 6 years old? Every time I would go to the library at my school, the only thing I would ever read were books on spiders. Even though I was so terrified of them that those books gave me nightmares because they would have the close-up images of spiders, like of their faces and their eyes and their hair, and it scared me so much. I remember just walking down the hallway in my house at night when it was dark, and then just like that image of the spider in the book all closed up would just flash in my brain, and I would get so scared I would bolt down the hallway into my bedroom and just like turn on the lights immediately. I would check all over the place to see if there were spiders. Like, that stuff actually gave me nightmares, but I kept reading it because I was so fascinated. Like, I was terrified of spiders to the point that if I saw one in real life, I would run away and cry. But I kept reading those books because I was like, wow, spiders are legitimately amazing creatures. And that's just how I am, man. I'm weird. Like, things that terrify me, I end up doing insane amounts of research on because it's like, this thing scares me. I have to know more about it. I'm so weird. I'm sorry. Wait, that's it. Wait, hold on. I gotta read that again. I thought it said Pikachu goldfish. Ranchu goldfish. I read Pikachu goldfish. Ooh, I would also like to see if we could find the giant snakehead. That was the newest creature that we caught yesterday. You should be here in the pond. No, I don't see him actually. Is he here? Black bass, carp, koi, softshell turtle. I don't see him. Oh, no, I see him. He's right there. See if I can get him to show up. Yep, giant snakehead. Cool. I've also talked about earlier in this video which fish we failed to catch. The only ones we failed to catch were the king salmon as well as the isopod Everything else we were able to catch. And I'm gonna be honest. As sad as I am that I wasn't able to get all of the golden tools, as that is one of my completion goals for myself personally when I play Animal Crossing, I am glad I was able to get 99% of everything. Especially when I jumped into this LP, I actually had no idea what I was doing. Also, those giant oh, I don't like the spider crabs. Oh, they terrify me. Is that what they're called? Actually, don't remember. Yeah, vampire squid, sea pig. How do I get to them? Oarfish, football fish, snow crab, spider. Yep, it is a spider crab. God, I hate the spider crab. That thing is disgusting. Oh, that is. Oh, I hate them. I hate them. Maybe it's because they look like a spider, but they're a crab, so they have pinchers. And that reminds me of a scorpion. It just looks like a spider with armor, and I hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it. But as I was saying before, when I went into this LP, I guess this is good commentary to discuss because I get to talk about the production of Animal Crossing now that the LP is over. When I went into this LP, I literally had no idea what I was doing. And usually when I go into an LP, I kind of try to give myself a plan of action, try to give myself goals, and what I feel like I should achieve throughout the project. Because that's the thing with me. I think of Let's Plays as projects, not necessarily a series. And Animal Crossing was not that. Basically, when this game was announced, I pretty much said during a live stream that I'm going to do an LP of it the day it comes out. I'm going to cover it for a year, and that's that. And then I never looked up information on the game ever again. Because I was just so excited for a new Animal Crossing. That's something that I don't think I will be doing ever again, because this was... I don't regret anything in this LP. I actually don't. I very much enjoyed this LP. The issue is just that the way that I thought I could structure it by recording every single day and uploading every single day, just it didn't work. That's one of the reasons why this LP kind of changed drastically as time went on. Purely because, well, for one, my life changed multiple times during this LP. And that affected my recording capabilities. But also, I just didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what to expect in the game. And so, as a result, things changed over time. Again, I don't regret anything out of this LP. It's just... I've realized moving forward that going into an LP 100% blind to the point that you don't know anything, it's not for me. I also wanted to come into the Able Sisters to show all the custom clothing I made. There's one shirt that I never put up here, which was my manga shirt, but I don't really care to show that off. Yes, we've got Bardock's armor, Lucas and Ness's shirts from Earthbound. This is just a tradition of mine in Animal Crossing. I always put up those two, as well as Azul's vest. Not really anything all that interesting in here. Moving on from there, our next spot, build the arcade. This was a goal of mine as soon as I learned that they allowed you to put up furniture outside. I wanted to have myself an arcade, and I'm very glad this was able to be completed as quickly as it did, because this is such an awesome thing. I would love to have my own arcade cabinets. One of my goals in life is actually build my own arcade cabinet. That's just an amalgamation of all my favorite fighting games. Essentially what I would do is I would just create the base for the cabinet and then just stick like my own mini PC in there and just have it run Steam. And really? You're here of all days? Yeah, I'm not helping you. It's the end of the LP. I'm not helping you. I already know I'm not getting that golden shovel. But if we make it up here, we've got a nice little path. Got a nice little pond right here. These trees right here were actually my money trees. That little area was purely dedicated to grow money trees, so that way I could make more cash. Obviously, as I invested more into turnips, I no longer had a need for money. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm sitting at like 16 million bells in the bank. But up here, we have the resident services, or residential area. This is where I stuck every single home for the villagers. Each home has their own tree, their own outside furniture, as well as their own little flower garden. Each person has their own, or the equal amount of space. Everything's just different based on their yard. Which this actually reminds me of something in real life. As someone who is currently trying to save up to buy a home, it's always interesting because in the area that I live in, the cost of living has gotten so high that I've actually started looking at townhomes and all that stuff. And my parents specifically, one of the things that they always cared about was having a big yard. And a lot of the homes in the area that I live in nowadays, like, they just don't have big houses because there's so many people living here that you just need to scrunch houses close to each other. And growing up, that was something I never liked. I never liked being able to be so close to your neighbor that you could like touch their house from just outside your window. I never liked that. I enjoy having at least a little bit of a yard. And I'm now realizing that I built my villagers' homes similarly to how homes are in real life. Although I did give everyone yards, I just now realized, like, I gave everyone yards, I gave everyone pathways. It's, you know, their houses aren't so scrunched up to each other you could, like, reach towards one another from their window. Like, no, they all have yards. But maybe not as big as I would have liked. Although that area is already so big as is. I think that takes up probably like a fifth of the entire island. But I actually want to show off this little pathway right here. Obviously, leads up in the middle to this this raised runway across the entire shopping district. Because over here, we actually got some golden flowers. Was able to get some golden roses grown. Not many, but a few. Continuing on, we've also got the river flowing through here. Basically got rivers flowing all the way through here. Continuing our way through here, got a little area for trees. Honestly, I had no idea what to do with this part right here, so I just didn't touch it. Probably could have put some sort of play area there, but wasn't all that important. But ending things off, we have my house. I decided to get myself a nice big yard because, of course, I'm the owner of this island. Decided to set up a nice little pumpkin patch over here, just so I had something to put over here. Obviously, I've got waterfalls going all the way up to the entrance of my house, being guarded by the oh-so-amazing flamingos. Decided to set up a barbecue, nice little outdoor sitting area. The toiletry. Can't believe this actually lasted as long as it did. This was literally a joke I made really early in the LP, how it was I had a toilet and I put it in front of a tree and realized I could make a pun out of it, so there's that. Got a lot of fake statues here, just from villagers donating it. But over here, got a nice yard, nice big yard with a cute little river area. Also got a stump for collecting certain types of bugs. Also got a cannon for defenses, you know, in case someone decides to invade the island. We do have our defenses. Oh, I did not mean to get rid of that lawnmower. Probably should use the lawnmower, cause you've got to be joking me, game. Thank you. I wonder. No, that would have been cool, though. I was actually wondering if you could mow the weeds with it, but no, you can't. But yeah, got a nice little river area, or a pond area over here. Decided to put this tower right here, as it reminded me of Wano from One Piece, even though Wano is basically just One Piece's version of Japan. Got some other statues. Got a nice pool area with Bubblegum KK playing. I actually have 2 pools, because why not? And let's actually take a look inside the house, as we were able to fully customize the home. And I was able to put together pretty much every single type of room I wanted to. I'm pretty basic when it comes to rooms. I try to just emulate as much of a house as I can. And let's start with the living room. Got a nice fun little TV area with a Nintendo Switch, obviously, as well as the Ring Fit band. I don't actually have Ring Fit in real life, but yeah. Got a nice, cute little workbench area, the tarantula and scorpion, as those are just really rare bugs that I thought I wanted to display. Got a cute little fireplace with our Happy Home Academy plaques. Speaking of plaques, we've also got the stamp collection plaques from the museum. We also have Rover's suitcase back behind the couch. We've also got a nice grand piano to play. which is actually something that I had in real life. I had a piano growing up as a kid, and I always enjoyed playing it, but never did. That's about it for the living room, so let's head on over to the room in the right. This is purely just the Mario room. Originally, it was a bathroom, but when they released all of the Mario furniture, I decided to just customize it out for that. Got KK... what song is this? KK Song, which is technically Totaka's song. Obviously have a Nintendo Switch. Decided to put the Switch Lite in here that matched the color of the yellow mushroom. Obviously got all of the Mario furniture. Everything that we can interact with. Even got all the Mario clothing. So you got the hats, the mushroom, or the mustaches, the overalls, as well as the shoes. Nothing all that special, but, you know. One of the things I've always loved about the previous Animal Crossing games is being able to have all of the various Nintendo furniture. One of the things I always did in New Leaf was I would have several rooms dedicated to just displaying all of the Nintendo furniture in the format of like a museum. And unfortunately I wasn't able to do that in this LP because the only Nintendo furniture they had was for Mario, but at least I was able to dedicate a room to Mario. In here we have a kitchen. I set it up in kind of like an old school retro diner, as those are actually some of my favorites. I'll be honest, one of my favorite sit-down places is Johnny Rockets. I'm not joking, that's actually one of my favorite places, and part of the reason why is just due to the aesthetic of it. So tried to cram as many different things into the kitchen to make it look good. Obviously you've got messy dishes, which is something that I always have in real life. Just got a bunch of stuff. Also got a nice little jukebox area, because again, trying to emulate that old retro diner type look. And man, I don't want to get too real right now, but as of this recording, I'm so glad that things are finally going back to normal in my area, because obviously pandemic. I actually just got fully vaccinated to the point that I'm fully immunized. So it's like, oh, I can finally go to a restaurant again. Feels so good. Also, we've got the bedroom. I didn't really do a whole lot with the bedroom. Of course, Nintendo Switch Lite. This time we have the pink one. Mostly just wanted to emulate a bedroom. Got a bed, got a TV. Decided to put up some more trophies. Got a wardrobe, hamster, which is to emulate my guinea pigs, as well as a humidifier, which is something I actually use in real life, as I like to use some essential oils to help me sleep, because I'm the type of person where I don't have a hard time sleeping. In fact, I'm a very deep sleeper, to the point that if I go to sleep, I know I will not wake up easily. So a lot of times I just live on naps. But yeah, it's not fun. But in here, this is kind of more of like a podcast room, kind of a little more like a late night talk show type thing. It's always been a goal of mine to have like a really fun setup like this, or I guess you could also call it like a music studio type thing, like talk show music studio, because music is a huge passion of mine. I would love to learn to play music more. Especially my guitar. I've owned an electric guitar for years and I've never learned to play it because I just don't have the time. Maybe I'll change that at some point in the future, but this is always a goal of mine, and this is something I do in every Animal Crossing game. Is I always build like a jam room slash like music studio, as I actually grew up spending a lot of time in music studios, as my dad is a musician, and there were a lot of he spent a lot of time in studios. In fact, even now, my dad spends a lot of his spare time at various studios just playing music and recording music with other people. So I wanted to emulate that. Also in here, we have the recording studio. It's as crazy and chaotic as my recording studio is in real life. Obviously got a Nintendo Switch. This time we have the turquoise Switch Lite, same one that I have in real life. Have two other Nintendo Switches. And then over here we have two computers. One that's just on the front screen. We have another one with an art studio on. We also have a traditional art setup, emulating my computer setup, which the desk setup should be different. Technically, the only thing that would make it more accurate to mine is if I move this desk over here on the right-hand side, because my desk is shaped like a U. So I have like one side that's art, one side that's editing, slash recording, and then one side that's for like all of my tech, like all my computers, as well as research notes, which is kind of over here. And then I've got a TV over here to kind of emulate the recording setup. I used to have my setup this way, partially or partway through this LP, but I recently changed it, so now the monitor that I used to record is just above all of my other monitors. It makes things a little bit cleaner, as well as gives me more desk space. I've got a server because I have a lot of data in my... I don't have my own server, but I have a lot of data. I've got like 12 terabytes worth of space in my computer across like 8 different hard drives. My computer setup's a little elaborate. Got an arcade cabinet because I wish I could have one of those in real life. And just got a couple other things displayed. Got a fridge, which is something that I mentioned that I wanted in my recording setup in real life. And fun fact, I actually do have a fridge in my recording setup. It's not a big fridge. It's not even a normal sized fridge. In fact, it's one of those really cheap $30 mini fridges that just plugs in to a wall outlet, and it only fits anywhere from 4 to 6 drinks, and that's perfect for me because that's where I store my energy drinks. Because my usual routine is that the second I wake up, I actually have my mini fridge right next to my bed. And so what I do is I just wake up, open the mini fridge, grab an energy drink, and then just sit down at my computer and schedule videos. That's literally the first thing I do when I wake up. Don't actually have anything over here. There's nothing I did with this beach side over here. Didn't really do much, admittedly, with the beach as a whole. So there's nothing to show there. The last thing I want to show is I decided to have a little library area over here because I actually really enjoy going to the library. That's another thing I did a lot as a kid, and I wish I did it more of. I also love going to bookstores. I just really do. I just like reading. I really enjoy reading. Although nowadays the only thing I really read is manga. But I always enjoy reading. Got a nice little play area over here. Got the campsite. Decided to set up a bonfire for the campsite, as well as a porta potty, stuff like that. And we loop back around to Nook's Cranny, and that's it. That's literally everything. This has been Animal Crossing New Horizons. This was an interesting LP. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna get a little real for a second. This was an interesting LP. Again, I went into this not knowing what I wanted to do. All I knew was that I was gonna play Animal Crossing for a year and see how things go. And I'm gonna be honest. I had zero faith in my ability to do so. I'm the type of person where I just get so many ideas in my head that I absolutely love. I want to execute them, and I have the power to do so. So I usually just end up spending a ton of time putting ideas together, throwing them out there, and usually failing. And part of that has to do with my lack of self-confidence, but it also has to do with just lack of interest. And that's fine. And Animal Crossing was one of those LPs where I figured nobody was going to like this. Nobody was going to be interested. And I'm happy to know that I just persevered. I kept going with it. I kept trying and kept the series alive. And to see it actually succeed. To see it actually achieve its final goal of playing for a solid year. Admittedly, I kind of wish I didn't do that because this game ran out of content for me real damn quick. Like, really quick. And that's kind of frustrating. But that wasn't necessarily my fault. That was the game's fault. I was expecting this game to have more content than New Leaf. And New Leaf already had a ton of content. But Nintendo kind of dropped the ball on that. So things ran short pretty quick. That's why the last few episodes were barely anything, because unless I just kept achievement hunting, which just felt like a waste of time after doing it for a while, there wasn't anything else to do. So with that being said, I want to end things off by thanking a few people. First off, I would like to thank the lovely people over at Polygon, as well as the Animal Crossing Wiki, for providing a ton of information on this game that was crucial in terms of the completion process to this LP. It really was. without those sites, I would not have been able to present the information that I did. So to those who have worked on the various guides for Polygon as well as the Animal Crossing Wiki, thank you. You guys are doing God's work. I would also like to thank my friend Keyblade Fortune for willing to collaborate during part of this LP, as well as helping complete the arcade. That was a lot of fun. I really wish I would have been able to have more people to visit their islands, as well as have them visit mine. I actually did attempt to reach out to a few other Animal Crossing YouTubers about this, and unfortunately did not get any solid responses, but that's fine. At least I was able to show off one other island. And the last few people I want to thank is everyone who watched this LP. Even if you watched just one episode, I thank you. I'm the type of person where I usually don't have a lot of positivity towards my own creations, my own content. I often try to hide this part of my life because usually whenever I share things about myself with others, they ghost me. In fact, as of this recording, that recently happened. Just a couple days ago, I was talking with a person, was actually forming a pretty strong connection with them, and then as soon as I shared my passions and what I do in life, they just deleted our entire conversation and never responded to any of my messages. So, if you're someone who actually took the time to watch this and you enjoyed it, thank you. That means the world to me, because I don't have a whole lot of self-confidence, and I often feel like this part of my life is a detriment, but it's something I enjoy doing, and it's something that I enjoy sharing. So thank you once again. I don't really like doing this, but I feel like it's important to say, if you enjoyed watching this Animal Crossing LP, I would appreciate if you like the video, comment if you want to, and consider subscribing. It does grow the channel, and again, I don't like saying that, so I usually only say it towards the end of an LP, but I hope that didn't sully the experience of this video. I really hope it didn't, because I don't like saying that, and God, my voice cracks are so great. So great. Anyways, that's it. That's all I wanted to say, so thank you all so much for watching. And as for what our next LP is, currently I'm working on Mario 64 as of this recording. So we'll continue through Mario 64, but after that, we'll be diving into a series that I have a strong passion for, and I really enjoy. It's a small game, not anything all that interesting. It's actually small in scale, both in terms of content as well as actual characters. But, well, let's just say if you like the flowers in this series, you're really going to like what we're going to be doing after Mario 64. So, continue watching Mario if you want to continue watching my channel and you are done with this LP. And look forward to other Let's Plays after that. So, I'll see you all later for a new LP. Goodbye.